Sven, one of the historic criticisms of banks during this prolonged recession is that they've been guilty of kicking the can down the road. How do you feel about that?
I think they're partly guilty. Together with the owners, it has been the most chosen strategy in restructurings. At the same time, I think it's a gift for banks being able to help their clients to get through the cycle. And I think nobody expects banks to pull the plug at once. So I think at the one hand, yes, we're helping our clients to buy runway and to hope for a market recovery, which I think is also the duty of us being a bank and being a long-term funding provider of this industry. Yet at the same time, we want to be pragmatic as well and understand when there's no solution in the end, then we need to look for other alternatives.
One of the things we've seen, particularly during this downturn, is the rise of the third-party valuer or valuation service. How valuable, in truth, are they?
I think it depends on the subsegment. On commoditized assets, I believe that they can definitely be valuable. On more specialized assets, however, where there is less liquidity in the market, I think it's more difficult to determine the actual value of the asset. We've seen brokers being way off. We've seen brokers being spot on. I think it's a good addition to the existing broker valuations that we have.
Do you prefer them to the traditional broker?
No, I don't prefer them. I think we prefer both.
In terms of the attitude of the owners that you deal with, do you find that they are delusional or realistic about the market?
I think now, currently, most owners are realistic. I think in the past, especially in the beginning of the downturn, many have hoped for an upturn too early. But I think most of them now are realistic and are confronted by the facts. They take a realistic approach. They are prudent, hopefully, in terms of financial management and their expectations towards a market upturn. So I would say no, they're realistic at this moment in time.
In the opening session today, we heard that there are countries such as Singapore, potentially Norway, looking to introduce Chapter 11 style arrangements for companies. How do you regard those moves?
For management teams, it might be a good solution. We see it in the US with some of the US companies having gone through Chapter 11. Management teams are the same. But we also have to be honest. A lot of value has been wiped out in those restructurings at the expense of either banks, existing shareholders. So I'm not sure, to be honest, whether it's indeed a good structure to have that on a worldwide basis, as it simply wipes out too much capital.
Now, the word of the day has been consolidation. Do you feel there's anything that the banks can do to support and encourage consolidation?
Absolutely. I think we can often play a linking pin in establishing relationships between our clients. I think we can have an open discussion in terms of being flexible on debt structures for a future combination. We have done so on some of the examples that have occurred already. So yes, I think banks are able to play a role there in supporting future consolidation, not just for the sake of that, but to help the industry get more healthy.